Hey, 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 good looking. The world I said is about to know how beautiful the world is, and I want to show.
Hi, my name is Johnny Fernandez. I'm Johnny of Johnny's Food Forest. I'm trying to create a food forest here on this lot in Palm Bay, Florida, northwest Palm Bay. And today is August 20th, 2015. I started this food forest in 2010, December of 2010. And so I'm going on 5 years now. I'd like to show you a food forest. Come on this way. Today's a pretty cloudy day overall. It's not that sunny, but food forest I started off with is a forest that in one form or that a food forest is a forest that everything in the forest is edible in one form or another, or is there to help the fruiting plants be more productive. So maybe a green manure that's growing just to cut it, just so it could drop down, decompose, and be nutrients to the other plants. Now, in the front, I have. We'll step on in, and in the front, I have my row of sugarcane. So these are all sugarcane, and I planted these about 4-5 months ago. So they're all pretty young and babies, but you can see the bigger ones in the back. They grow quite large. And then I have a row of banana trees. So I have sugarcane, banana trees, and then banana trees again. And then this is a loquat tree, the baby one still. And then I did the same pattern on this side. I have sugarcane in the front, different varieties of sugarcane. Then I have bananas. Then I have more bananas. And I have like mango here. And this is my, did you ready to go into it?
Mm-hmm.
And so, to start off with, this is, I started this is my parents' land. They bought maybe 10-15 goats. They never did anything with the land. So one day I came out here just to plant loquats, and that's actually this one here. And just because it grew so well in our area for the zone 9A, which is, or is actually 9B, I'm sorry. Like, our lows are like 28 or so. So I believe it's, I feel like I should know this, but I believe it's 9B, I think. But so I came here just to plant loquats and have like a little loquat orchard. So then I came out here, I started pulling weeds down, started cutting things, and this place was just a forest. Like, if you could see across the street, that's more or less what this forest looked like when I started December of 2010. So there's still 5 pine trees back there, and there was 18 total. So I've cut down 13 pine trees since starting this. And so there was pine trees there, and so overall I'm just going to give you a tour as I would give anybody who came to my garden. So I have yucca here, which is a root plant, and it grows edible tubers underneath the ground. And so the way you harvest this, you pull the whole plant up, and then you take the tubers out, and they're called yucca or juca. And also the leaves, you can boil them and make tea. My mom does that. And then when you plant these, you could cut notches like this, and each one of these nodes will grow a new root and a new plant. So from these notches, you cut typically about like that, and from each one of these notches can potentially grow a whole nother plant. Then it's more juca. Then I have a citrus tree here. Then I have avocado.
Slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Then this one's avocado. Then I have juca. More juca. Then this one is lemongrass, and you can stir fry this, or most people put it in teas. It smells really good. There's an avocado growing in between it. I'm trying to go for like a tropical look in the front, really thick of banana trees and sugarcane. And then over here, I have a coconut tree that I started from seed. So I actually just had a really old coconut one day, and I stuck it in the ground, and about 8 months later, it started. And typically, these coconut trees doesn't do well this far west from the coast in my climate. But hey, it didn't cost me anything. I think the coconut I got for free. Just a bad coconut fell from somebody's tree. Then I have my row of citrus. So this one actually somebody gave me for a birthday present. This one is a Valencia orange. And then I have another orange tree. This one is a Valencia as well. Then I have, this one's a orange tangelo, and this is a vine growing on here. And then I have a lemon tree. I have a lemon tree. I have lemons. And some more, quite large lemons. And we actually just picked one about a week ago. And then I have a lychee tree. And then so you can see this whole oak trees I actually am pruning to make into a giant hedge. So I chopped the top off all the oak trees. This oak tree here was about 3 times the size, and I cut it about a third way down, and then I'm shaping the front and the sides to make it to a giant hedge. And then my plan is to have a walkway right here to kind of go this way. And so I'm gonna allow this to grow up, allow it to grow up here, but at the same time I'm gonna allow these to grow. These are all a bunch of loquat babies. It's like a good 100 here. And I'm going to allow it to grow up, and then I'm gonna shape things around it, but until it grows up taller, I'm gonna have this hedge grow up to about here. So I'm able to, so from the outside, you're not gonna be able to see in unless you physically walk through. So it kind of gives that, I don't know what's around the bend type of feeling until you actually get around the bend, and then it opens up to what it is. And then I have some baby starters. I have a little chair here just to sit down, and I have some, mangoes and citrus, and I believe those, I'm not quite sure, but loquat and citrus. Then I have an avocado tree, and then we're gonna actually make the tour around this way so that we can do a full circle. And then right now I have some squash growing in the tree, and you can see one squash right here. It's beautiful. I actually just noticed this myself. And I also say, I'm seeking a career in horticulture, and my dream job would be growing food forests all around the world. So right now, actually, for the past month, I just came back a week ago, and I been working on a farm in Gainesville, and that's about 3 hours north of here, northwest. So there's a lot of things that haven't been as manicured as I typically am when I'm living just 2 minutes away from this lot. But nonetheless, you can still see the work that's been done, and you can still see the potential for what it will be in 5 years or so. So with that being said, let's continue on. So there's definitely a lot of things that I actually noticing even as I walk through today, because I've been gone for a month. And the beautiful part about plants is, especially food forests, is a forest, nobody goes and waters the forest, nobody goes and tends to the forest, yet the forest is still productive, it still grows, it still thrives. So that's the thought here. So when I leave for even a month, I come back, things are still growing. Granted, weeds are growing a lot more, and when they're a lot smaller, they can compete them out. But the idea is the forest will grow to a point that weeds will not be able to grow because all the sun is taken up by a food producing plant, so it doesn't allow for weeds to grow up. But yeah, so I'm surprised by things I see, like that squash that we just saw. So then I have more squash growing here, and then you can see a squash here, another one, and so this is kind of the overview that you can see of the whole garden. And then so I have a papaya plant here, and this is an avocado, this is a citrus, we have a male papaya, there's a female papaya next to it, then I have a pineapple guava, and you can see all my lemongrass. I like to just stay right in the middle here just to kind of be in my field of lemongrass. I could just hide in here and be like a lion. And so, yes, and so all this can be tons of tea. And then I have my mulberry tree. And I have little mulberries growing there. And then you can see my squash, another one hanging from the tree. And all the squash actually started from right about there is where the actual seed was planted. And from there it grew this way and kind of grew up the tree, and I kind of trained it not to go into the neighbor's yard just by moving it into the direction I wanted to. And then I got avocados, then I have citrus, and then I have an avocado, then I have my grapes. And then if you take a look down here, we probably already picked at least like 200, 250 grapes, but there's still a few here. You can see some right in there. There's 2 left there, but the season's pretty much all out. Let's see if this one's
Where's
ready.
The other one?
Here's one, here's 2 right there. One I picked and then that one there.
I couldn't see that one you picked.
Yeah, it's just...
Okay.
And these are muscadine grapes, and they're pretty tasty. Don't bite into the seeds don't taste too good. But then I have rosemary, I have sage, I have a poppy seed, I have citrus, strawberries, rosemary, I have a mango tree, more lemongrass. I have a papaya tree that I moved to this location. It was at a different location where it got root rot, and so the roots just rotted out and it fell over, and I transplanted here, and I can see that's coming back. I have some more papaya that I planted, more papaya over there, and this I built. This is jame. Sorry, this is jame. And the way you can tell this difference from the potato vines is that the stem is actually cubed. It's not like round. And you can see that it has like ridges. And there's like the wild one that's not edible as far as I know, is round. And this is like another starch plant, and it grows underneath the ground. And to me this would be a survival food. Like if somebody needed something, like if I needed something to survive, I would probably grow this because it's really low maintenance. You pretty much put it in the ground and you can forget about it. And it really, in sandy soils and all kinds of soils, it grows. And then from there, it grows up there, and it grows all the way up in the tree. And that's why I actually left that tree up there, so I can grow a lot of my vine plants. I also have passion fruit. The stems are in that location over there. I kind of let the weeds have kind of getting the better of this area. But from there, it grows all the way up there. Then if we go there, we have pigeon peas, also called guandulas in Spanish. And then I have a blueberry tree here. Needs to be weeded out a little bit. But this one's a blueberry, not these guy. That's more weeds, but like I said, I've been gone for a month, so please excuse my unmanicured forest, but blueberries. Then I have another pigeon pea. I have a little seat here. Then I have citrus, more citrus. Then I have guandulas or pigeon peas. Then I have another banana tree. These are pigeon peas, a more mature tree. And these are pigeon peas are beans or peas. And they're actually a perennial. And a perennial meaning that it's multiple years. Annuals are like plants that you plant one time. It lives like within 1 year and then dies, like a squash plant or many vegetables, broccoli. They're one season. But perennials are ones that live multiple years, so they'll just keep surviving as long as they're happy, maybe 10 years or so. And then also the pigeon peas is in the legume family, which is also a nitrogen fixer, which takes nitrogen from the atmosphere, from the air, and actually puts it within itself. And it also could be a chop and drop plant that you chop it, you drop it, and decompose, and then feeds the soil. Then I have more bananas, and more bananas here. And then I have more pigeon peas. These are sweet potatoes. This vine here. I have more sugar cane there. And I have more sugar cane here. More pigeon peas here. Pigeon peas, sugar cane, bananas, yucca, sugar cane, and then this is what all the sugar cane I have around here, including these and those, but especially the ones that I mentioned in the very start of the video, in the front. I hope to plant. I hope they all grow about that tall. So you see, you know, maybe in a year's time, these are about going on 3 years, or maybe not even, maybe 2.5 years. So in 2 years' times, the ones in the front are about that tall. Should be about that tall. So it'll give that really thick tropical feeling in the front of the garden, food forest. And then I have more banana trees there. And then this is actually called anica, which is a medicinal plant that it actually has healing properties. Like let's say you have a bruise, then you could warm this up in the microwave for like 5 seconds or so, and then wrap it or put it around the bruised area. Like what my mom likes to do, she with me, we'll put like icy hot, then we'll warm this up for like 5 seconds, take 3 or 4 leaves, and we'll put it over it, and it helps with the bruising. And my chemistry teacher also confirmed that. So
You could buy anica cream in the store, so.
oh, see, yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, yeah, I get, yeah.
So you get it straight from the source.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, things I definitely don't know everything, that's for sure. So yeah, as I'm told, yeah, you can buy it in the store. So even that's another confirmation that this is a medicinal plant that actually works, not just mama says. And then this is a sweet banana. Yeah, and you can see this starting to have bananas, and that's what how the bananas start on a banana tree. The flowers are here; they kind of just passed, but they come out of these things, and then the bananas start within. Then I have they call it a spinach tree, but I think it's a kanye. I'm probably butchering the name of it, but I think it's like kanye or something like that. And yeah, these you can pull the leaves off, boil them, and then eat it like spinach. And I have another banana here, and then I have more more papayas here. Then I have another citrus, and this vine here, quite thick. It's actually grown into the ground. It was originally in the pot and then grew out the pot. It's a passion fruit vine, and the passion fruit is actually all on top of this tree. If you kind of take right about here, you can start seeing the whole top of that oak tree is all covered in passion fruit vine, and I can even notice some flowers that.
So it's all the like really green stuff.
Right, the bright green, the light bright green, is pretty much all the. Even the dark green, honestly, I don't even think you really. Once you get beyond about there, it's pretty much all passion fruit. There's just like passion fruit on top of passion fruit. Like you can't even
layers.
see. Yeah, you can't even see the oak tree. Truly, beyond like this point, just because it's just so thick and so vigorous that it just kind of just consumes the tree. Then I have more citrus, and then I have definitely needs to be weeded out so that it can really thrive a little better and not compete so much with the grass. But this is a raspberry tree, and then this is another raspberry tree here, and yeah, and then I have, and this is more of the passion fruit, and then there's fig here, which also needs to be weeded out, and then I have a little citrus here, and then I have another passion fruit vine right there, and it's quite thick as well, and then it grows all within there and all up in here, and it goes every which way. And you can see, I'd love you to get this close up on this. Well, first of all, there's the actual passion fruit. So this is the bounty of today that I didn't grow, you know, I just came and picked up. Like, you know, eventually the idea of the food forest is that once you get established, it's low input and high output. So if you want to take a close up on that flower, that's the passion fruit flower. It's just gorgeous, I believe. And so yeah, eventually, you know, you get to a point that you come in maybe twice a year. Oh yeah, that's the actual passion fruit on the vine. You come maybe twice a year just to put more mulch down to feed the soil more, because if you take in passion fruit or fruit from, it took the energy from the soil, put into the fruit, and then you eat it. So you need to replace that if you want to have a sustainable garden, forest. But like you have plants that are like nitrogen fixing ones that are putting in to the plant, that can offset the balance of you taking out the fruits. Or if you bring manure in, or even human manure, then you are eating it and then actually replacing it. So I have a banana tree that kind of gotten taken over by the passion fruit vine, but you can see some flowers that either just passed or about to open, but I like to think they just passed, but they may just open. Yeah, and then I have plants like this that I just have as a chop and drop, and usually I'll have my machete with me and I'll just give this thing a couple cuts, and then it becomes a chop and drop tree that feeds the soil. So. But the machete does light work to all this stuff. But I have another banana tree, and then I have all these papayas and one avocado in these pots. I don't know exactly where I'm going to plant them yet, but they're all due to be planted. Then I have another spinach tree here, and then I have Cuban oregano here that just grows abundantly. And the way these things work, you take a piece maybe like that, you just stick this in the ground just like this, and you just dig a hole, put it just like that, and this thing grows so well just by cuttings like that. It'll take just like that, and that's how all that started, just by one, like the one I just demonstrated. Then I have another different variety of passion fruit, but growing here, and then it grows up and out above the trees. Then over here is like, I want it to be like my zen area, or just my place that I come to relax. Granted, it's also my storage place as well for now, but I can, well, it's all wet, so I'm not gonna sit down, but normally I'd relax there because it did rain just recently, so, but normally I sit there and relax and stuff like that. And then on this side I have my pond, and I have some goldfish, and yeah, and they're happy there. They've been there for, I have two that's been in there for about 2 years now, and I fed them the first day that I put them in, and I haven't fed them since. So I mean, they are doing just fine. Some papayas that I brought yesterday night that I'm planning to plant today. Anyway, I just got in water just to stay hydrated. Then I have an avocado tree here. I constantly cut out the passion fruit from growing on top of it. And then over here, if you look down here, I have tons of passion fruit vines, and over here as well. And you can see there's really one thick one. But so all that is what is consuming the top of this tree over here. You can see it best probably from over here, looking up. And you can see it's just taken over all over there. And then my plan is to grow passion fruit up on those pine trees one day. So those pine trees I'm hoping to also get covered with passion fruit, and I could just collect. And it's just, where the food forest is, there's 7 layers of the food forest, and that would be like the top canopy, and then the vines would grow up there. So even though those are pine trees and I can't eat it, I'm hoping to still grow on them. And because normally I wouldn't be able to use that sunlight up there, with the vines I can have them grow up there and then help me produce fruit, and it's not wasting so much space along the ground. And so you can see some flowers over there, and then over there I have some sweet potatoes, and then here I put in a well, and it's gas powered. And so I just recently did this about 2-3 months ago, so now I do have my water source. But up until 2-3 months ago, everything has been almost self-sufficient, because the only way I could have watered them is either by a pond or by rainwater. So I strayed away from vegetables, which I hope to get into, but now that I'm doing these farm things and not here so often, I probably won't. But I have the option now. And so, but it also allowed me to make a true food forest that's not dependent on me. you know, I could leave for a month and it doesn't all die. You know, just like typical vegetable gardens, you know, they need constant watering, constant, you know, care and stuff like that, which the food forestry don't. So I know I keep coming back, but to about how, to me, I think how amazing the idea of a food forest, and I really truly think it's the way of the future of sustainable agriculture, lifestyle of just waking up early and working in the garden, staying physically fit and eating fresh food, and the fact that I want to be a lazy gardener. You know, if I want to just go and pick, you know, and I want to do as little work as possible. I don't want to every year have to garden, have to till, have to weed. You know, I want it just to be able just to do little work throughout the year and get a lot back. And so that's why I chose to grow food forest, and that's why I also want to make it my career, because it just seems like the way of the future. And then just a peek over here. I've left a lot of this middle area pretty open and only like annuals, because typically this juca is just an annual. So there's like a border kind of with some wood there, and then where the brown stuff is, and then back over behind this well. This whole area I'm planning to do annuals in. So I've been trying to keep it away from planting perennials here, you know, plants that are meant multiple years, so that I can do like I want to do like 3, like 4, like 4-foot beds, like 4-foot beds, like 3-4-foot beds that are like 30 feet long in the middle. So they'll be a really productive to grow like lettuce and tomatoes and, you know, the stuff that's you know, everybody's used to, and I can also learn, because all this is trial and error mostly, and just a huge learning process. I have another banana tree, and then I have more juca. Then I have a loquat tree. One of like 2 plants that aren't really where I want it to be, but I planted this when I pretty much first started the garden, and now I have different plants than 5 years ago with the garden. But I have a loquat tree there. And then the debris pile is, you know, there's constant maintenance here, but and when it comes to chopping the tops of trees and, you know, cutting the big oak trees, because the oak trees they want to consume, they want to keep growing. You know, they're oak trees, they get big, but I want something that I can eat, so I always try to keep the oak trees in check. And so I cut a lot of it out, and since those leaves, and since oak trees took the nutrition from this soil, I don't like throwing it into the landfill, because I don't feel like that nutrition that came from the soil should be in the landfills. So I keep it here and let it decompose, and I chop it up, and sometimes I dig holes and I do like a hugelkultur, which is, you know, you bury a bunch of stuff and you let it decompose, and then the soil becomes richer. I have an avocado tree, and then some more of the juca. There's lemongrass over there. I have a chipper here. I also like to chip a lot of the wood that I do, so that it mulches it down, and then I can use it that way. You go back to the soil faster. Then I have a loquat tree. I have a citrus tree that I need to weed out to get it out. I have a few plants in there, but it's kind of hidden away, but like a mango tree, kind of in the shade, but hoping for it to be protected from the frost, and then also potentially grow tall enough, and once it's strong and hardy enough, then I'll clear out the area so that it could get more sun, but it can survive the frost by the time it's matured enough. That's my hopes. Then I have a citrus tree here. Then I have another avocado tree. Then I have a guava tree. I've already taken guavas off of. I have a little baby citrus, and you can see a lot of these things are really small because I started them from seed. But you know, if you could imagine all these, if they live and thrive, 10 years from now, they're all gonna, trees like this will be big trees, and yeah, so you can just imagine. So more pigeon peas. This is a loquat tree that I'm actually training. You can see that I have like strings onto logs, and I did the same with this one, but this one this is the first one that I did. It's actually ready, pretty much it's grown to, like, you know, I put weight on here, and then I don't know the exact word, but it's pretty much stays like this permanently now. So I remember seeing like on some Japanese agriculture thing, they made like a fence of loquats. So instead of having giant trees that you can't pick, they're gonna be like a low, like maybe this high at the most, so I could just come and just pick off like a fence. And so I'm hopefully, you know, there'll be little sprouts here, and I'll let them grow. And I just turned this one over yesterday, so you can see that the front hasn't turned up yet because it hasn't had enough time to start growing towards the light. But that one should be like this one, that after I bent it over, it starts growing towards the light, and then it starts coming up. And then some techniques, I prune the tops so they start bushing more. And all you have to do is just nip the little starting points of the plant. And then from there, since it can't go straight in the direction it was going, it'll just go out. Maybe 4 or 5 will sprout from there. And you can see that I did that here. I nipped it here, and then from there we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sprouts that came from the one because I nipped the middle. And so I'm hoping to bush out to be bushy and short, so I could pick the fruits without a ladder. Then I have poppy seed tree, more juca, more avocados. And avocado trees grow big. I don't know if you know, but they grow into full-blown 25-foot trees. So all these trees potentially 25 feet tall. Then I have banana over there. Then there's another avocado back there. And definitely document this big time for me, because I love looking back and seeing, oh my God, I remember when that was that small, and then seeing it grown, or maybe it died and oh yeah, man, can't believe that one died, or something like that. And then so all those pigeon peas that I've been talking about, the guandules, they grow into nitrogen fixing trees like this one, and they grow big, and then they have easily, this tree will probably have 300 pigeon pea little peas pods, and each pea pod has 4 or 5 in it. So that's a huge producing plant. Then I have a mango tree. That's actually the Haitian mango, Madame Frances. And then I have an olive tree here. Get a little biblical here, So, but 25 years, they say, takes to produce an olive tree. So if you want something that's 25 years, you got to get started. 25 years, a long time. So, start 25 years ago would be a good time, the best time to start. Then this is pomegranate. Then I have another papaya. And then you can stay there while I walk over here. I have citrus there, and I have a pineapple here. And then I have here's a passion fruit, which it grows all on top of there, and goes up there, and it's up there. And then I have a loquat tree, which I think, but I'm not sure yet, I'm going to bend this one over, and I'm going to make a fence that goes along here. And then my eventual plan is to allow the loquat trees to grow big enough that I'm going to remove the oak trees, so that it becomes an actual food forest, that everything on the forest is edible in one form or another. But oak trees, I heard they're survival food, but I personally don't enjoy eating acorns, so I plan to get rid of the acorns and grow things like loquats. And so I have another citrus here, and another loquat there. And if we continue on, you see I have a whole bunch of little citrus that need to go into separate pots, or at least moved around. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 just in that low, so we have about 30 here. And each one of those are going to grow into full, huge, 20, 15-foot trees. So I mean, there's a lot of plants that, as babies, they seem small, but as adults, mature plants, they're going to be ginormous. So I just keep trying to alliterate that everything might be small now, but it has so much potential. And I guess the saying just cool to throw in there, just because I say it all the time, so why not say it to the camera. But you count the seeds in an apple, but you can't count the apples in a seed. So in just a sense of one little seed has so much potential that to me, it gives me hope for change in the world, because one little seed can give thousands, millions of apples, or millions of citrus, or they feed so many. So I mean, if one little seed can do that, then one man planting a whole bunch of seeds can do a whole lot. And so I have more bananas, some more citrus that needs to be separated. Then I have sea grapes, which I'm also one of the plants that I want to replace the oak trees with. But I do like my privacy, so I do leave the oaks for now, but eventually I'm going to plant more sea grapes, and which also gives little edible things that personally I don't like people to find out, because I love finding sea grapes at the beach. But if everybody knew about them, I might have to, be fighting up people for sea grapes, but their sea grapes are good, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give too much of the
I know you just told the whole world about sea grapes.
Maybe I'll edit that out. If I'm nice, you heard it. If I'm not, it got edited out and you don't know. But then I got another loquat tree here that I trained this one. You can see that I have the cinder block here, and then you can see this is what I want to have happen with the other one. That they start sprouting out here, and then this will become the bush, and then I'll start nipping them little by little, and then it'll become bushy. So yeah. So yeah, and then all these little ones, you can see they're all turning the right way. They're all starting to head towards the sun, and just what I wanted. So it'll be bushy and short. And then I have more banana, and you see a mango tree that's getting bigger on the bigger end. Loquat, banana, sugar cane. So we're getting towards the front. I have a few more. Yep. And then so I do some, you can see I've been doing some tree manipulating and stuff like that. So I've also seen videos that people make like full on like chairs. Like they, you know, comes out one stem and then they bend it one way, and then even bend in armrests. So like here's some of my manipulators. I try to make a heart, but it's kind of hard trying to get that arch in there, but so it's kind of more of just a circle. But potentially I pull off little things like this and only let the ends grow something, and then look at me giving out these secrets, but then once you get into plants, they're not that big of a secret. But and then so only the growth comes from here. So the plan is when this becomes a big tree, if I allow it to, there'll be this circle in the middle, and the plant will actually do a loop and then grow from here, and there'll be a hole in the middle, and just I think it's kind of cool. And then so like with this one, I'm manipulating it so that I'm gonna make a chair out of it. So I have it tied here, and then my plan is that I'm gonna be able to sit here once the tree gets bigger and stronger. It'll, so I'm pretty much, and then I'm hoping to kind of weevil it in and out of whichever way I want, so that I can just have like a nice bench, a live bench. Then I have banana tree here, and then I have blackberries, and then pretty much the last thing, there's another avocado, is I have this that I'm making into a J. This I'm making into a J. I'm kind of trimming it. Obviously, you know, with me being gone, it's kind of growing how it wants to. It's been a little uncontrollable and more or less, but definitely want to trim it up. So trim up the side and then chop the top as I've done before. But you can see it's a J. It's so, you know, me being Johnny, a J. So I think more or less this is my garden. Thanks for coming to see. I've done lots of work, first of all, just getting to the point to be able to plant, because it was really thick and woodsy. I'm just glad that I made this video so I could see it myself. I hope you enjoyed. This also, I like to say, shows, you know, how much work I've done here, and potentially if it's if we are talking together to do business in the future, you know, I've done hard work and I personally enjoy this stuff, and I hope to work with you, and I hope to make my dreams possible, growing food forests all around the world. And I would love for people to help me out, and if you ever want to have a personal tour, want to know an update about the garden, you know, ask me about it. I really enjoy talking about gardening, you know, working in the garden, seeing other people's helping out. So yeah, my name is Johnny Fernandez. Thanks for listening and watching this video this long. I hope you have a good day. Today's August 20th, 2015. Thanks. Do you want to be on too?